The terms climate change and global warming keep making news headlines. But what exactly are they? Are they the same thing? And what is the greenhouse effect? What is causing our climate to change? And what effect is it having on the planet? If you are confused, then listen on as I explain the fundamentals. Global warming is defined by the Cambridge Dictionary as an increase in the temperature of the air around the world because of pollution. Climate change, as defined by the Meteorological Society, is a large-scale, long-term shift in the planet's weather patterns and average temperatures. Basically, global warming causes climate change. That our planet is warming is an indisputable fact. The statistics are scary. The Earth's temperature has risen by an average of 0.11 degrees Fahrenheit or 0.06 Celsius per decade since 1850 up until 1982. Since that time, the rate of warming has been more than 3 times as fast at 0.36 degrees Fahrenheit or 0.2 degrees Celsius per decade. 2023 was the warmest year since global records began in 1850. It was 2.12 degrees Fahrenheit above the 20th century average of 57 degrees Fahrenheit and was 2.43 degrees Fahrenheit above the pre-industrial average taken from 1850 to 1900. Climate change deniers will say that the Earth's temperature has warmed and cooled throughout Earth's history, and that is true. There have been at least 5 major ice ages throughout Earth's history. Ice ages last millions to tens of millions of years, but within an ice age are multiple shorter-term periods of warmer temperatures when glaciers retreat, which are called interglacials, and colder temperatures when glaciers advance, called glacials. The planet's most recent ice age started about 3 million years ago, and we are still in it. It peaked about 20,000 years ago, and we are, at the moment, in a warm interglacial period which started around 11,000 years ago, called the Holocene. Glacials and interglacials occur in fairly regular repeated cycles. The timing of these cycles is governed to a large degree by predictable cyclic changes in the Earth's orbit, called Milankovitch cycles. These are periodic changes in the orbital characteristics of Earth, which affect the amount of sunlight and therefore the amount of energy that the Earth absorbs from the Sun. These cycles drive climate change over long timescales, ranging from tens of thousands to hundreds of thousands of years. But the Earth's most recent warming has been taking place over a very short timescale of decades to centuries. Scientists have in fact shown that over the last 150 years, these Milankovitch cycles have not changed the amount of solar energy absorbed by the Earth very much. In fact, NASA satellite observations show that over the last 40 years, solar radiation has actually decreased somewhat. So yes, our climate changes. Over tens of thousands of years, it can get warmer and colder, but the climate change that the Earth is experiencing now is a period of rapid warming which has been occurring since the pre-industrial period, a period of time around 1850 to 1900, with particularly rapid warming occurring since the mid-1900s. Scientists are convinced that this rapid warming is due to human activities which have put greenhouse gases into the atmosphere, such as methane, nitrous oxide, chlorofluorocarbons, and the one that we hear the most about, carbon dioxide. And I will talk more about carbon dioxide a bit later. But why does having more of these gases in the atmosphere give rise to a warming climate? Well, it is due to something called the greenhouse effect, which works like this. Solar radiation emitted by the sun passes through our atmosphere to reach the Earth's surface. It is either reflected back out into space or absorbed by the surface of the Earth and warms it. This energy is then re-radiated by the Earth as long-wave infrared radiation, otherwise known as heat. Some of this heat passes through the atmosphere back out into space. but most is absorbed and re-radiated in all directions by greenhouse gas molecules and clouds, warming the Earth and lower atmosphere through the greenhouse effect. The greenhouse effect is not actually a bad thing. It is in fact crucial to keeping a suitable temperature on Earth to sustain life. Without it, the average temperature on Earth would be around -20 degrees Celsius. The problem is that because humans have added more greenhouse gases into the atmosphere, there has been an enhanced greenhouse effect, which is making the planet warmer than it should be. But of course, it is not that simple. Different gases have different effects on the Earth's warming. They differ in their ability to absorb energy, which is called their radiative efficiency, and how long they stay in the atmosphere, known as their lifetime. The contribution that a greenhouse gas makes to the greenhouse effect is called their global warming potential, or GWP. It is a measure of how much energy the emissions of 1 ton of a gas will absorb over a given period of time, usually 100 years, relative to the emissions of 1 ton of carbon dioxide. Assigning a gas a global warming potential allows comparisons of the global warming impacts of different gases. For example, methane is 28 times more effective than carbon dioxide, and nitrous oxide is 273 times more effective than carbon dioxide at warming the planet. However, there is so much more carbon dioxide being released into the atmosphere by human activity than there is methane or nitrous oxide, and is responsible for a third of the total warming of Earth's climate, which is why we hear so much about it. We add over 35 billion tons of carbon dioxide to the atmosphere every year, mostly by burning carbon-rich fuel like coal and oil that had previously been trapped in the ground. Carbon dioxide also lasts a long time in the atmosphere. The carbon we emit today will stay in the atmosphere, reflecting heat for hundreds of years. So even if we stopped all new carbon dioxide emissions tomorrow, it will take many lifetimes before the warming effect of our past emissions cease to have an impact. There are many ways in which our planet's climate is changing due to global warming. It is not just a case of our air temperature warming. Our oceans are also experiencing more frequent and intense marine heat waves. Warmer temperatures also lead to greater evaporation of water from the surface, leading to drought, and devastating wildfires are on the increase. A warmer atmosphere holds more water vapour, so there is more water for intense rainfall and snowfall, which can lead to more flooding, as the capacity of natural and man-made draining systems to move or soak up moisture is exceeded. More water vapour, along with warmer oceans, leads to more intense and sustained tropical cyclones, leaving devastation in their wake. There is also an increase in high tide flooding as sea level rises due to thermal expansion of the oceans and the melting of land ice. These changes to our climate have a massive impact on human lives. We already have climate migrants, and it will only get worse, with millions of people being displaced by shoreline erosion, coastal flooding, and agricultural disruption. It impacts our food security and health, and also our world's biodiversity. In subsequent videos, I will be discussing the impact our changing climate has on individual species, such as polar bears, as well as whole ecosystems, such as coral reefs. I hope you will join me on this journey of discovery and learn about our amazing one world and how important it is to do whatever we can to save our beautiful planet and ultimately ourselves from this crisis of our own making. If you have enjoyed this video, then please like, subscribe and share with your like-minded friends.